The night sky above New Eden Colony was peaceful. Stars twinkled like tiny diamonds against the black space. Children slept safely in their beds while their parents worked late shifts in the mining facilities. Nobody expected what was coming. 3 massive ships dropped out of hyperspace without warning. They were unlike anything humans had ever built. The ships were sleek and silver, shaped like giant teardrops. They moved through space without making any sound. Advanced alien technology kept them hidden from human sensors. Commander Vexthal stood on the bridge of the lead ship. He was tall and thin, with purple skin and 4 arms. His species, the Zephyrians, ruled over dozens of star systems. They considered themselves the masters of this part of the galaxy. To them, humans were nothing more than primitive animals. "Begin the harvest," Vexthal ordered his crew. His voice was cold and emotionless. The Zephyrian ships moved closer to the human colony. Bright beams of light shot down from the ships. These were not weapons meant to destroy. They were capture beams designed to take living beings from the planet's surface. Down on New Eden, the first sign of trouble came when the power went out. The colony's defense system shut down instantly. Emergency lights flickered on, casting strange shadows across the settlement. Parents rushed to check on their children, but it was already too late. The alien beams passed through walls and roofs like they were made of paper. One by one, sleeping children began to float upward. They were pulled gently but firmly toward the waiting ships above. The children did not wake up during this process. The Zephyrians used sleep gas to keep them unconscious. Sarah Martinez was 8 years old. She had been dreaming about her birthday party next week. The beam found her in her small bedroom. Her body lifted off the bed and drifted toward the ceiling. Her parents burst into the room just in time to see their daughter disappear through the roof. "Sarah!" her mother screamed. She reached up desperately, but her hands touched only empty air. Across the colony, the same scene played out 70 times. Parents watched in horror as their children vanished into the night sky. Some tried to shoot at the alien ships with hunting rifles, but their bullets bounced off the energy shields harmlessly. Tom Chen was 16 and the oldest child taken. He had been studying for his pilot license test. Tom woke up for just a moment as the beam lifted him. He saw his room getting smaller below him. He tried to shout for his parents, but no sound came out. Then the sleep gas took effect again and everything went dark. The whole operation took less than 30 minutes. The Zephyrian ships gathered all 70 children into special holding areas. The children floated in clear tubes filled with breathable liquid. Machines monitored their health to make sure they stayed alive and unharmed. "Harvest complete," reported the ship's science officer. 70 specimens collected. "All are in perfect condition." Vexthal nodded with satisfaction. "Excellent. These young humans will bring good prices at the slave markets. The noble families always pay extra for exotic pets." He looked down at the human colony through his ship's viewing screen. The tiny settlement looked pathetic to him. Humans had barely figured out how to travel between star systems. They had no real weapons, no advanced technology, and no allies in the galactic community. They were completely helpless. "Should we destroy the colony?" asked his weapons officer. "No," Vexthal replied. "Let them live. They cannot hurt us. This will teach them their place in the galaxy." The 3 ships turned away from New Eden and jumped back into hyperspace. They left behind a colony full of grief and rage. Parents held each other and cried. Others stood in the streets, staring up at the empty sky where their children had disappeared. Colony Administrator John Hayes tried to send an emergency message to Earth. He also sent distress calls to the Galactic Council, the organization that was supposed to keep peace between different species. Hayes explained what had happened and begged for help. The response from the Galactic Council came 3 days later. It was short and cold. "The Zephyrian Empire has the right to collect specimens from primitive worlds. Humans are not recognized as a protected species. No action will be taken." Earth's government received the colony's message with shock and anger. But Earth was far away and humans had only a few small military ships. Most galactic species saw humans as newcomers who did not matter. Earth's requests for help were ignored or rejected. The 70 children were taken to Zephos Prime, the capital world of the Zephyrian Empire. The city covered the entire planet's surface. Tall spires reached up toward the clouds. Millions of aliens from different species lived there as citizens or slaves. The human children were processed like valuable cargo. Medical teams checked their health. Scientists studied their biology. Trainers began preparing them for their new lives as servants and gladiators. Little Sarah Martinez was assigned to serve in the palace of a wealthy merchant. She would clean floors and serve food to alien guests. Tom Chen and the older boys were sent to gladiator training camps. They would fight dangerous beasts for the entertainment of crowds. None of the aliens involved in this process thought the humans would fight back. Humans were weak and had no real military power. The Zephyrians had done this same thing to dozens of other primitive species. Those species had accepted their losses and moved on, but the aliens did not understand humans very well. They did not know about human history. They had never studied how humans fought their wars or protected their families. They thought humans would react like other species had reacted. They were completely wrong. On Earth, news of the kidnapping spread quickly. Every major government called emergency meetings. Military leaders gathered to discuss options. Scientists worked around the clock to study alien technology. The entire human race began to focus on one single goal. The aliens had taken human children. They thought humans would do nothing about it. They were about to learn that humans were very different from other species. When someone hurt a human child, humans did not give up. They did not accept it. They fought back with everything they had. The Zephyrian Empire had made the biggest mistake in their long history. They had attacked the young of a species that would do anything to protect its children. Now they would face the consequences of that choice. But for now, 70 human children slept in alien cages on a world far from home. They did not know that their entire species was preparing for war. They did not know that humans were about to show the galaxy what happened when someone took their children. The harvest was complete. But the real story was just beginning. The news reached Earth 72 hours after the attack on New Eden. President Maria Santos sat in the Oval Office reading the report for the 5th time. Her hands shook with anger. 70 children taken from their beds while they slept. The youngest was only 8 years old. Around the world, similar scenes played out in government buildings. Prime ministers canceled their schedules. Military generals dropped everything to focus on this crisis. For the first time in human history, every nation on Earth had the same enemy. In Moscow, General Viktor Petrov slammed his fist on the conference table. "These aliens think we are weak," he growled. "They will learn otherwise." In Beijing, Admiral Liu Wei studied star charts with his staff. "We need to know everything about Zephyrian space," he ordered. "Every ship, every base, every weakness." In London, Dr. Elizabeth Harper worked with teams of scientists to analyze the few pieces of alien technology humans had found over the years. "If we can understand how their ships work," she said, "we can find ways to destroy them." The United Nations called an emergency session. For once, there were no arguments between countries. Ambassador Helena Santos, the president's sister, stood before the assembly. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said, "our children have been stolen. Every resource, every brilliant mind, every weapon we have must be used to get them back." The vote was unanimous. Every nation on Earth agreed to join Project Lazarus, humanity's first united military operation. Old enemies became allies overnight. Russia shared its best rocket technology with America. China opened its factories to build weapons for Europe. India provided its computer experts to work with teams from Africa. Money flowed like water toward the project. Corporations donated their profits. Citizens gave their savings. Rich and poor alike understood that this was bigger than politics or profit. This was about the future of the human race. Dr. Sarah Chen led the science teams. She was the sister of Tom Chen, one of the kidnapped children. Sarah had studied alien biology for years, but now her work had personal meaning. "We need to learn everything about every alien species," she told her team. Their biology, their psychology, their weaknesses. Working 20-hour days, Sarah's teams began building detailed files on dozens of alien races. They studied old reports from human diplomats. They analyzed video recordings from space stations. They even bought information from alien traders who visited Earth. "The Zephyrians are proud," Sarah reported to the military leaders. "They think they are superior to everyone else. That pride will be their weakness." Colonel Marcus Webb took charge of training the new human military force. Webb was a tough soldier who had fought in wars across Africa and Asia. He had trained special forces teams from every major army on Earth. Now he had a new job, preparing humans to fight aliens. "Forget everything you know about warfare," Webb told his recruits. "We are not fighting other humans anymore. We are fighting beings with technology we barely understand, but they have never fought humans before either. The training was brutal. Soldiers learned to fight in zero gravity. They practiced using alien weapons captured from crashed ships. They studied alien psychology to understand how their enemies thought. Aliens follow rules, Webb explained. They have codes of honor and civilized ways of fighting. We will not be civilized. We will do whatever it takes to win. Meanwhile, human diplomats made one last attempt at peace. Ambassador Santos traveled to the Galactic Council station. The massive space structure orbited a neutral star system. Representatives from hundreds of alien species lived and worked there. Santos requested an emergency hearing. She stood before the council chamber filled with strange alien beings. Some looked like giant insects. Others were made of living rock. A few resembled walking plants with multiple eyes. Honored members of the council, Santos began. The Zephyrian Empire has committed an act of war against humanity. They have kidnapped 70 of our children. We demand their immediate return. The council chamber buzzed with alien voices. Many species made sounds that humans could not understand. Translation devices turned their words into human speech. Humans are not a recognized member species, said the council chairman, a tall being with blue skin and silver eyes. You have no rights under galactic law. We are not asking for rights, Santos replied firmly. We are asking for justice. Return our children or face the consequences. The alien audience laughed. The sound was horrible, like metal scraping against stone. To them, humans were primitives making empty threats. They had seen other young species make similar demands. Those species had eventually given up and accepted their losses. The Zephyrian Empire has acted within galactic law, the chairman announced. Primitive species have no protection from harvesting operations. This matter is closed. Santos stood quietly for a long moment. Then she spoke in a voice that carried to every corner of the chamber. You have made your choice. Now we will make ours. When human ships come for our children, remember this moment. Remember that we asked for peace first. She turned and walked out of the chamber. Behind her, aliens continued to laugh and joke about the foolish humans who thought they could threaten their betters. The news of the council's rejection reached Earth within hours. Any hope for a peaceful solution died in that moment. President Santos appeared on television screens around the world. Her message was simple and direct. Our children are prisoners on alien worlds, she said. The galactic community has refused to help us. From this moment forward, humanity is at war. We will build ships. We will create weapons. We will train soldiers. And we will bring our children home no matter the cost. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Military recruitment centers had lines stretching for blocks. Factory workers volunteered for extra shifts to build war materials. Scientists worked without sleep to develop new technologies. Dr. Chen's teams made breakthrough after breakthrough. They learned how to copy alien metal alloys. They figured out how alien computers worked. Most importantly, they discovered weaknesses in alien technology that the aliens themselves did not know about. Their ships are strong, Chen reported, but they depend too much on computer systems. If we can hack their networks, we can turn their own weapons against them. Colonel Webb's training camps grew from hundreds to thousands to millions of recruits. Former enemies trained side by side. American Marines learned urban combat from Israeli commandos. Russian Spetsnaz shared stealth techniques with British SAS. Chinese cyber warfare experts worked with German engineers. We are creating something new, Webb told his officers. Not American soldiers or Russian soldiers or Chinese soldiers. We are creating human soldiers, and we will be unlike anything the galaxy has ever seen. The first human warships began construction in orbital shipyards. They looked crude compared to sleek alien vessels. But human engineers had learned from studying alien technology. These ships were designed for one purpose, ending civilizations. As the months passed, intelligence reports confirmed that the 70 children were still alive. They were being held on Zephos Prime, the Zephyrian capital world. Some worked as servants. Others were being trained as gladiators. All of them were prisoners in a system that saw them as valuable property. They are keeping our children as pets, Santos told the War Council. That ends now. Humanity had awakened from its peaceful sleep. The species that had conquered its own planet through warfare and determination now turned those skills toward the stars. They had asked for justice and been denied. Now they would take it by force. The galaxy had made a terrible mistake. They had hurt human children and laughed at human anger. Soon they would learn what humans were truly capable of when their young were threatened. The awakening was complete. Now came the reckoning. Hidden deep beneath the mountains of Colorado, the Prometheus Research Facility hummed with activity. Thousands of scientists and engineers worked around the clock in the massive underground complex. Security was so tight that most governments did not know the facility existed. Dr. Sarah Chen walked through the main laboratory, checking on dozens of different projects. Her team had grown from 50 researchers to over 5,000. They came from every nation on Earth, united by a single goal: understanding alien technology well enough to destroy it. "Show me the latest results," Sarah said to Dr. Yuki Tanaka, her lead engineer. Tanaka led her to a testing chamber where pieces of a crashed Zephyrian scout ship were spread across multiple tables. "We have figured out how their shield generators work," he explained. "The aliens use a quantum field to deflect energy weapons, but the field has a weakness." He pointed to a small device that looked like a metal cube. "This is their shield controller. It sends signals to the shield generators 60 times per second. If we can interrupt that signal for even 1 second, the shields will collapse." Sarah smiled grimly. "How do we interrupt the signal?" "Computer virus," Tanaka replied. "We upload it into their main systems. The virus waits until the ship enters combat, then crashes the shield controls at the worst possible moment." In another section of the facility, biologist Dr. James Rodriguez worked on an even more deadly project. His laboratory was sealed off from the rest of the building. Only people wearing full protective gear could enter. "The Zephyrian immune system is very different from ours," Rodriguez explained to Sarah during her daily inspection. "They cannot fight off Earth bacteria. A simple cold virus could kill them in days. But we need something faster," Sarah replied. "Something that works in hours, not days." Rodriguez nodded. "I am working on that. We have identified proteins in their blood that we can target. A biological weapon that attacks those proteins would shut down their organs very quickly." "How quickly?" "Minutes," Rodriguez said quietly. "Maybe less." The weapons development team worked in a different building entirely. General Patricia Hayes, formerly of the U.S. Air Force, ran this operation with military precision. Her teams were creating weapons that had never existed before. "Conventional bullets will not work against alien armor," Hayes explained to Colonel Webb during his visit. "So we developed these." She held up a rifle that looked normal except for its unusual barrel. "This fires depleted uranium rounds at 30% the speed of light. The aliens' personal shields cannot stop something moving that fast." "What about their ships?" Webb asked. Hayes smiled and led him to a massive testing chamber. Inside, engineers were working on a torpedo the size of a small car. "Kinetic impactor," she said. "No explosives, no fancy technology. Just a big chunk of metal moving very, very fast. When this hits an alien ship, it will punch straight through their hull." The training facilities were spread across 6 continents. Colonel Webb traveled between them constantly, making sure every human soldier met his impossible standards. The training was designed to break normal people and rebuild them into something harder. At the facility in Australia, recruits learned to fight in the brutal heat of the desert. At the base in Siberia, they trained in freezing temperatures that would kill most aliens. At the underwater facility in the Pacific, they practiced zero-gravity combat in massive water tanks. "Pain is temporary," Webb told a group of exhausted recruits. "But losing is forever. The aliens think they are better than us. We will prove them wrong." The psychological warfare teams worked in unmarked office buildings in major cities around the world. Dr. Lisa Park led this group. She had studied alien cultures for years and understood how their minds worked. "Every alien species has fears," Park explained to her team. "The Zephyrians fear losing their status as the dominant species. The Grekans fear being forgotten by history. The Vorthan fear pain and death more than most species." Her teams created propaganda videos designed to terrify alien populations. They wrote computer viruses that would fill alien networks with horrible images. They planned attacks that would seem impossible, designed to make aliens afraid to leave their home planets. "Fear is a weapon," Park said, "and we will use it." The spy networks were the most secret part of the entire operation. Teams of humans disguised themselves as alien traders and diplomats. They infiltrated alien space stations and colonies. Some even made it to the Zephyrian home system. Agent Michael Torres had been living on a Zephyrian mining station for 8 months. He worked as a maintenance technician. fixing alien machines while secretly copying their computer codes. Every week, he sent intelligence reports back to Earth using hidden communication devices. Security is very light, Torres reported. They do not expect any threats. Most of their military is concentrated around the capital world. The outer colonies have minimal defenses. Similar reports came in from dozens of other human agents. The aliens were completely unprepared for war. They had not fought a real enemy in centuries. Their military was designed for keeping peace, not for survival. The ship construction project was the largest engineering effort in human history. Orbital shipyards around Earth, Mars, and the Moon worked constantly. The new human fleet did not look impressive compared to sleek alien vessels, but appearances were deceiving. Admiral Chen Lu, formerly of the Chinese Navy, oversaw the ship construction. Each vessel was built with lessons learned from centuries of human warfare. They had multiple backup systems for every critical function. They carried enough weapons to destroy small moons. Most importantly, they were designed to be operated by crews who expected to die in battle. Alien ships are beautiful, Admiral Lu explained to the shipyard workers. Our ships are ugly, but ugly ships can still kill beautiful ones. The largest ship in the fleet was the Retribution, a massive dreadnought designed specifically to attack the Zephyrian capital world. It carried kinetic weapons that could crack open a planet's crust. Its armor was thick enough to survive direct hits from alien superweapons. Its crew of 5,000 had trained for this one mission for over a year. Captain Elena Vasquez commanded the Retribution. She had lost her nephew in the New Eden attack. Her face was marked with scars from the brutal training all ship commanders had endured. She spoke little and smiled never. "We have one job," she told her crew during their final briefing. "Bring our children home. Everything else is secondary." As the months passed, intelligence reports continued to arrive about the kidnapped children. Sarah Martinez was working in an alien kitchen, serving food to creatures that saw her as a pet. Tom Chen was being trained to fight alien beasts in gladiator arenas. All 70 children were still alive, but they were suffering. "They are using our children for entertainment," President Santos said during a War Council meeting. That ends soon. The final piece of the puzzle was the computer virus that would cripple alien communication networks. Dr. Raj Patel led this project from a secret facility in India. His team had spent months studying alien computer systems. "Their networks are connected across the entire galaxy," Patel explained. One virus uploaded at the right location could spread to every alien world in hours. It will shut down their ships, their weapons, their communication systems. "How do we upload it?" asked General Hayes. "We need someone to physically access a major network hub," Patel replied. "The capital world of Zephos Prime has the largest hub in Zephyrian space. That is where our children are being held," President Santos said quietly. "Perfect." 2 years after the attack on New Eden, humanity was ready for war. The species that had never worked together had become a unified military force. They had ships that could destroy planets. They had weapons that could kill aliens in minutes. They had soldiers trained to fight until death. Most importantly, they had a plan. Operation Alien Extinction would begin with surgical strikes on Zephyrian outposts. Human ships would appear without warning and destroy everything they found. No prisoners would be taken. No mercy would be shown. The attacks would work their way toward the Zephyrian capital world. Each victory would make the aliens more desperate and afraid. By the time human forces reached Zephos Prime, the alien empire would be crippled and demoralized. Then would come the final battle. Human ships would fight their way through the capital world's defenses. Marines would storm the alien palaces and rescue the 70 children. The Zephyrian leadership would face justice for their crimes. And if any aliens tried to stop them, humanity would show them what extinction really meant. The Forge had done its work. Humanity had been transformed from a peaceful species into a weapon of war. Soon the galaxy would see what happened when someone hurt human children. The reckoning was about to begin. The attack began without warning. The Zephyrian mining colony of Kepler 442b was going about its normal routine when human ships dropped out of hyperspace. The colony administrator was reviewing production reports when his screens went dark. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution, watching the colony through her tactical display. 20,000 aliens lived on the planet's surface. They had no idea what was coming. "Begin orbital bombardment," she ordered. The human fleet opened fire with kinetic weapons. Massive tungsten rods fell from space like the wrath of an angry god. Each impact created explosions visible from orbit. Within minutes, the entire colony was reduced to burning ruins. Any survivors? Asked Commander Harris, Vasquez's second in command. No, replied the tactical officer. Complete destruction confirmed. Vasquez felt no satisfaction in the victory. This was not about glory or conquest. This was about sending a message. Set course for the next target, she ordered. The same scene played out across Zephyrian space. Human ships appeared at mining stations, research facilities, and small colonies. They attacked without communication or warning. In every case, the result was total destruction. The Zephyrian military command on Zephos Prime received the first reports with confusion. Admiral Vex Thule, the same commander who had ordered the attack on New Eden, studied the data with growing alarm. How many ships are attacking us? He asked his intelligence officer. Unknown, sir. The attacks are happening too fast to count. We estimate at least 50 human vessels. Vex Thule laughed despite his concern. 50 ships? The humans barely have a dozen vessels in their entire fleet. These reports must be wrong. But the reports kept coming. Human forces struck 3 more colonies in the next 6 hours. Each attack followed the same pattern. Sudden appearance, devastating bombardment, complete destruction. Send the third fleet to investigate, Vex Thule ordered. Capture one of these human ships. I want to know what technology they are using. The third fleet consisted of 30 Zephyrian warships, each one larger and more advanced than any human vessel should be. They arrived at the destroyed colony of Mindus Station expecting to find primitive human raiders. Instead, they found Captain Sarah Mitchell and the UES Vengeance waiting for them. Mitchell had been one of Colonel Webb's best students. She had trained for 2 years in the harshest conditions on Earth. Her ship was smaller than any Zephyrian vessel, but it was built for war in a way the aliens could not understand. Enemy fleet detected, reported her tactical officer. 30 ships moving into attack formation. Remember the plan? Mitchell told her crew. We are not here to win a fair fight. We are here to teach them fear. The Zephyrian fleet opened fire first. Energy beams that could melt through asteroid belts struck the human ship. But the Vengeance's shields held. Human engineers had learned from studying alien technology for 2 years. Return fire, Mitchell ordered. The human ship launched a single kinetic torpedo. The Zephyrian admiral watched it approach on his screens and almost laughed. One projectile against 30 ships seemed like a joke. The torpedo struck the lead Zephyrian vessel and punched straight through its hull. The ship exploded in a ball of superheated plasma. Fragments of metal flew in all directions, damaging nearby vessels. Impossible, whispered the Zephyrian admiral. Our shields should have stopped that. Upload the virus, Mitchell told her computer specialist. The human ship sent a single data transmission toward the Zephyrian fleet. The aliens' computers automatically accepted the transmission, thinking it was a surrender message. Instead, it was Dr. Patel's virus, designed specifically to target Zephyrian computer systems. Within seconds, half the alien fleet lost power. Their shields collapsed, their weapons shut down, and their life support systems failed. Ships that had ruled space for centuries became floating coffins. What is happening? The Zephyrian admiral demanded. Computer systems are failing across the fleet, his officer replied in panic. We are dead in space. The Vengeance moved through the disabled alien ships like a predator hunting helpless prey. Its weapons destroyed each vessel methodically. Within an hour, the entire third fleet was space debris. Only one Zephyrian ship escaped. Mitchell let it go deliberately. Someone needed to carry the news back to Zephos Prime. The surviving ship arrived at the capital world with a tale of impossible human technology and devastating defeat. Admiral Vex Thule listened to the report with growing dread. How did they destroy our shields? He asked. Unknown, sir. Their weapons seemed to ignore our defenses completely. And the computer failures? Also unknown. Our systems simply stopped working when they transmitted to us. Vex Thule realized he was facing an enemy unlike any the Zephyrian Empire had ever encountered. These humans did not fight according to galactic laws of war. They showed no mercy and asked for no quarter. Send a message to the human fleet, he ordered. Tell them we are willing to negotiate. The response came from Captain Vasquez herself. Her scarred face filled the communication screen as she spoke in a voice cold as deep space. We tried to negotiate 2 years ago, she said. You laughed at us. You refused to return our children. Now we speak the only language you understand. What are your terms? Vexthal asked desperately. Complete surrender, return of all human children, and the execution of every Zephyrian involved in their kidnapping. That is unacceptable, Vexthal replied. We are a galactic power. We do not surrender to primitives. Vasquez smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Then you will die like primitives. The human attacks intensified. Zephyrian colonies fell like dominoes before the advancing human fleet. Each victory made the aliens more desperate and afraid. They sent requests for help to other galactic powers, but nobody wanted to fight the humans. The Grecan Confederation reviewed reports of human tactics and decided to stay neutral. The Vorthan Alliance closed their borders rather than risk human attention. Even the mighty stellar hegemony chose to avoid conflict with the strange species from Earth. The humans fight like madmen, reported the Grecan ambassador to the Galactic Council. They take losses that would break any sane species, but they keep coming. They do not seem to care if they live or die. Dr. Lisa Park's psychological warfare teams added to the alien panic. They broadcast videos of human training exercises across alien communication networks. The images showed human soldiers fighting until death, never surrendering, never showing mercy. This is what comes for you, the broadcast said in dozens of alien languages. This is the price of stealing human children. The videos terrified alien populations. Many species had never seen warfare like this. They were used to civilized conflicts with rules and limitations. Humans fought with the fury of a species that had evolved through constant war. On Zephos Prime, panic spread through the civilian population. Aliens who had laughed at human threats now begged their government to return the kidnapped children. The Zephyrian military mobilized every ship they had, but morale was already broken. The human children felt the change too. Sarah Martinez noticed that her alien captors were nervous and frightened. They spoke in whispers about human ships destroying entire fleets. Some aliens looked at her with fear instead of contempt. Tom Chen was in the gladiator training facility when news of the latest human victory reached the guards. An entire Zephyrian battle group had been destroyed near the Altair system. The alien trainers stared at Tom with something approaching terror. Your species is insane, one of them said. You fight like demons. Tom smiled for the first time in 2 years. You have no idea what humans are capable of, he replied. But you will learn. The Zephyrian government made one last attempt to stop the human advance. They gathered their remaining fleet around Zephos Prime, over 800 ships in total. It was the largest military force ever assembled by their empire. Admiral Vexthul stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the human fleet approach on long-range sensors. Only 50 human ships were coming toward the capital world. The numbers should have favored the Zephyrians by 16-1. But Vexthul had read the reports from every human attack. He knew his ships were commanded by officers who had never faced real warfare. He knew his computer systems were vulnerable to human viruses. He knew his weapons had failed to stop human armor. Most importantly, he knew that humans did not fight to win. They fought to kill. All ships prepare for battle, he ordered his fleet. On the UES Retribution, Captain Vasquez studied the massive alien fleet through her tactical display. 800 ships against 50. In any normal battle, the humans would be destroyed in minutes. But this was not a normal battle. This was the moment 2 years of preparation would be tested. This was when humanity would prove that taking their children had been the worst mistake in galactic history. Signal the fleet, Vasquez ordered. Begin the final assault. The Battle of Zephos Prime was about to determine the fate of 70 human children. It would also decide whether humanity would take its place among the galactic powers, or whether the species would be wiped out for daring to challenge their betters. Either way, the galaxy would remember this day forever. The Battle of Zephos Prime began at dawn. 800 Zephyrian ships faced 50 human vessels in the space above the alien capital world. By any measure of military logic, the humans should have been destroyed in minutes. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution and watched the massive alien fleet through her tactical display. 2 years of planning had led to this moment. 70 human children waited somewhere on the planet below, prisoners in a world that saw them as exotic pets. Signal from the alien flagship, reported her communications officer. Admiral Vexthul's face appeared on the main screen. The Zephyrian commander looked tired and afraid, but he tried to maintain his dignity. Human fleet, you are outnumbered 16-1. Surrender now and we will grant you quick deaths. Vasquez looked at the alien with cold eyes. "Admiral, you took our children. Now we take everything." She cut the transmission and turned to her crew. "All ships, begin the attack. Remember what we are fighting for." The human fleet moved forward in perfect formation. Each ship was smaller than the alien vessels, but they had been built with one purpose: winning this battle. Human engineers had studied Zephyrian technology for 2 years, learning every weakness and flaw. The Zephyrian fleet opened fire first. Thousands of energy beams lit up space like a deadly light show. The weapons that had conquered dozens of star systems struck the human ships with enough power to boil oceans. But the human shields held. Dr. Chen's teams had learned how to strengthen shield generators using Zephyrian technology, turned against itself. Energy that should have destroyed the human fleet was absorbed and redirected. "Return fire," Vasquez ordered. The human ships launched their weapons. Kinetic torpedoes moved so fast they seemed to teleport across space. They struck Zephyrian vessels and punched straight through shields and armor like paper. Ship after ship exploded in balls of superheated gas. "Impossible," whispered Admiral Vexthal as he watched his fleet die. "Our shields are the strongest in the galaxy." "Upload the virus," Vasquez told her computer specialist. Dr. Patel's masterpiece spread through the Zephyrian fleet like a plague. Alien computer systems that had never failed before suddenly crashed. Ships lost power, weapons shut down, and life support systems failed. Hundreds of vessels became floating tombs in seconds. The few Zephyrian ships still fighting tried desperately to retreat, but human vessels pursued them with ruthless efficiency. Captain Sarah Mitchell commanded the UES Vengeance as it hunted down fleeing aliens. Her ship moved through space like a deadly shark, destroying everything it caught. "No survivors," Mitchell told her crew. "They showed no mercy to our children. We show none to them." Within 3 hours, the entire Zephyrian fleet was destroyed. 800 ships reduced to space debris. Millions of alien sailors dead. The greatest military force in their empire completely eliminated. Admiral Vexthal floated in the wreckage of his flagship, his body broken but still alive. He watched human ships move toward the planet below and knew his civilization was doomed. The primitives had become predators and they were hungry for revenge. On Zephos Prime, panic spread through the population like wildfire. Billions of aliens looked up at the sky and saw human ships descending toward their world. The species they had dismissed as harmless were coming to collect their debt. The planetary defense systems tried to stop the human landing craft, but Dr. Patel's virus had spread through every computer network on the planet. Defense satellites shut down. Missile batteries failed to fire. The entire planet was defenseless against the coming storm. Colonel Marcus Webb led the first wave of human Marines. His transport ship landed in the governmental district of the capital city. As the ramp lowered, Webb saw thousands of alien civilians running in terror through the streets. "Remember your orders," he told his troops. "We are here for our children. Everything else is secondary." The human Marines moved through the city with mechanical precision. They had trained for this mission for 2 years, studying maps of every building and street. They knew exactly where the human children were being held. Webb's team headed for the Imperial Palace, a massive structure that covered several city blocks. Intelligence reports indicated that some of the children were being held there as servants for the royal family. The palace guards tried to resist, but human weapons cut through alien armor like it was made of cloth. Dr. Rodriguez's biological weapons spread through the air, killing any alien who breathed them. Within minutes, the entire palace was under human control. Webb found Sarah Martinez in the kitchen of the royal dining hall. The 8-year-old girl was washing dishes for alien nobles who saw her as an amusing pet. When she saw Webb's familiar human face, she began to cry. "Are you here to take me home?" she asked in a small voice. "Yes, sweetheart," Webb replied gently. "We are all going home." Across the city, other human teams rescued more children. Tom Chen was found in the Gladiator training facility, where he had been forced to fight alien beasts for entertainment. Captain Mitchell herself led the team that freed him. "I knew you would come," Tom told her. "I never stopped believing." "Your sister Sarah helped design the weapons that brought us here," Mitchell replied. "Your family never gave up on you." The rescue operation took 6 hours. All 70 children were found alive, though many showed signs of abuse and trauma. They had survived 2 years as prisoners in an alien world, but they had not been broken. As the children were loaded onto transport ships, the real purpose of Operation Alien Extinction was revealed. This had never been just about rescue. This was about sending a message to the entire galaxy. Dr. Rodriguez's biological weapons spread through the Zephyrian population like a plague designed by angry gods. The aliens had no immunity to Earth diseases modified for alien biology. Within hours, millions were dead. Within days, the entire planet was a graveyard. Captain Vasquez stood in the ruins of the Imperial Palace and activated a galaxy-wide communication system. Her scarred face appeared on screens across hundreds of star systems as she delivered humanity's final message. To all species of the galaxy, she began, the Zephyrian Empire is extinct. Every ship, every colony, every individual of their race has been eliminated. This is the price for taking human children. She paused to let her words sink in across the galaxy. We asked for justice. We asked for our children back. You laughed at us. You called us primitives. Now you know what primitives can do when you hurt their young. Let this be a lesson to every species in the galaxy. Humans protect their own. Touch one of our children and we will end your civilization. This is not a threat. This is a promise. The transmission ended, leaving the galaxy in stunned silence. The species that had dismissed humans as harmless had just witnessed the complete extermination of a galactic power in less than a week. The children returned to Earth as heroes. Sarah Martinez was reunited with her parents on New Eden, where they rebuilt their lives in peace. Tom Chen became a pilot like he had always dreamed, flying ships that explored new star systems. But the galaxy had changed forever. Other alien species looked at humans with a mixture of fear and respect. The Galactic Council offered humanity full membership and all the rights they had been denied before. Ambassador Helena Santos accepted the offer, but with conditions. Humanity will join the galactic community, she announced. But we will never forget what happened when we asked for help. We protect ourselves now. Earth became a fortress world, surrounded by military stations and defended by the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. Human ships patrolled the borders of human space, watching for any threat to human worlds. The story of the Zephyrian extinction spread throughout the galaxy. Parents of every species told their children about the humans who had destroyed an empire to save 70 of their young. Some told it as a warning about the dangers of underestimating primitives. Others told it as a tale of love and determination. Dr. Sarah Chen continued her research, but now she studied ways to protect humanity rather than attack aliens. We showed them what we can do when threatened, she said. Now we show them what we can build in peace. Colonel Webb retired from active duty and became a teacher, training the next generation of human soldiers. We are not conquerors, he told his students. We are protectors. Never forget the difference. The Zephyrian homeworld remained empty, a dead monument to the price of hurting human children. Automated human weapons continued to patrol the system, ensuring that nothing would ever live there again. Sometimes alien diplomats would ask human representatives about the extinction. They wanted to know if humanity would do such a thing again. The answer was always the same. Touch our children and find out. Years passed and the galaxy learned to live with its new reality. Humans were no longer seen as primitives or potential victims. They were respected as a species that would do anything to protect their young. The 70 children grew up to become leaders, scientists, and explorers. They never forgot their time as prisoners, but they also never let it define them. They had survived because their entire species had refused to abandon them. Sarah Martinez became a teacher herself, working with human children on frontier worlds. You are precious, she would tell them. So precious that your entire species would go to war to protect you.